Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udivayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtaki Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Bhavata Shri Vishakha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatani Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3 Chapter 12 Text 34. Kadachid dhyayata shastur veda shams chatur mukhat katham shikshyami aham lokan samavetan yatha pura. Once upon a time, when Brahma was thinking of how to create the worlds as in the past millennium, the four Vedas, which contain all varieties of knowledge, became manifested from his four mouths. So this is at the time of Brahma's morning again. He's thinking, how can I create? As a fire can consume anything and everything without being contaminated, so by the grace of the Lord, the fire of Brahma's greatness consumed his desire for the sinful act of sex with his daughter. The Vedas are the source of all knowledge, and they were first revealed to Brahma by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, while Brahma was thinking of recreating the material world. So it was his morning. We saw that he wanted to start the creation, and then he got this sinful desire in his mind. But because Brahma is, here the example is given of fire. Fire can consume anything without being contaminated. We can burn dirty things in the fire, but the fire doesn't get impure. It in fact purifies. So then, because how pure the fire is, so Brahma, because of his position of his position of being such a pure devotee, a devotee of the Lord, his greatness, his his qualifications. So then that that offense which he got was comparatively, it was burnt away. And then the Vedas, they always, Krishna reveals the knowledge of the Vedas through the heart of, into the heart of Brahma. Tene Brahma Hrida Adi Kavaya. So the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam begins with that. That Sri Krishna, he's the one who imparted the knowledge of the Vedas into the first living being, Brahma, into the heart of Brahma. So then does it mean that, we can also do sinful acts and then we will be able to get away by it? Or let me also engage in devotional service and then even I can do wrong things and I will be excused, or I can go about it. No, we can't do that. We cannot imitate great personalities. We cannot imitate great personalities. Here, Brahmaji is being used as an example that we are in the material world and we can fall down at any moment. No, so we should not in any way see in a bad way Lord Brahma, because all these pure devotees, Krishna uses them to teach us, that how this material world is a very dangerous place actually, and at any moment any of these lusty desires can become manifest, because those seeds are there in our hearts. So at no time we should think, I heard and chanted enough, now I'm totally clean. Like Caitanya Charan Prabhu, I've heard once, he gave the example, if you see a lion sleeping, don't try to pinch him. It doesn't mean that if the lion is sleeping, he won't bite you. If you pinch him, he will bite. So these desires are there in our heart. And so we should be always mindful. I'm in the material world. And because I'm in this material body, okay, I understand theoretically that I'm the soul, not this body, but the body is under certain rules and regulations of this material nature. So we should not artificially try to think ourselves on a platform which we are not. So, and Brahma is powerful by dint of his devotional service unto the Lord, and the Lord is always ready to forgive his devotee if by chance he falls down from the noble path of devotional service. The Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.42 confirms this as follows. Swapada mulam bhajata priyasya tyatvanya bhavasya hari pareshaha vikarma yakchopit chotpatitam kathanchit dunoti sarvam hridi sannivishtaha. I'm sorry, any person who is engaged 100% in the transcendental loving service of the Lord at his lotus feet is very dear to the personality of Godhead Hari, and the Lord, being situated in the heart of the devotee, excuses all kinds of sins committed by chance. So it is by chance. It was not that Brahma premeditated that, I'm going to do like that. It was just by chance. And this is to show, he's being an example to show that that Krishna is all forgiving. If somebody makes a mistake by chance, a pure devotee, Krishna is all forgiving. Not that he's going to say, I condemn you to eternal life in hell. Krishna is not like that. But we shouldn't take advantage of Krishna. We cannot say, Krishna is so forgiving, so let me try to take advantage of him. It was never expected that a great personality like Brahma would ever think of sex indulgence with his daughter. The example shown by Brahma only suggests that the power of material nature is so strong that it can act upon everyone, even Brahma. Brahma was saved by the mercy of the Lord with a little punishment, but by the grace of the Lord, he did not lose his prestige as the great Brahma. Is that okay? Any comments or questions? No, then we can continue to the next one. Text 35, Chaturhotram Karma Tantram Upaveda Nyaye Saha Dharmasya Padas Chatvaras Tatheva Shrama Vrittaya. The 4 kinds of paraphernalia for conducting the fire sacrifice became manifest. The performer, the chanter, the offerer, the fire, and the action performed in terms of the supplementary Vedas. Also the 4 principles of religiosity: truth, austerity, mercy, and cleanliness, and the duties in the 4 social orders all became manifest. Eating, sleeping, defending, and mating are the 4 principles of material bodily demands, which are common to both the animals and human society. So eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Animals also do it, human beings also do it. To distinguish human society from the animals, there is the performance of religious activities in terms of the social statuses and orders of life. So only when we follow the principles of religion can we be actually called human beings. because if we do not follow the principles of religion, means we are just on the platform of animal, even though we have the body of a human being. They are all clearly mentioned in the Vedic literatures and were manifested by Brahma when the 4 Vedas were generated from his 4 mouths. And so what is that religion? Religion is standing on 4 principles, what the 4 legs, as it's called: truth, austerity, mercy, and cleanliness. And that's the reason the Vedas say that we should not indulge in illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication, because then these 4 principles of religion are compromised. So it does, so it means that if we are following these 4 principles of religion, we are just coming to the platform of being a human being, not even becoming spiritual. It's just to become a human being, we should follow these 4 principles. Otherwise, we are on the platform of animals. Thus, the duties of mankind in terms of the statuses and social orders were established to be observed by the civilized man. Those who traditionally follow these principles are called Aryans, or progressive human beings. So the civilized man means one who follows the Vedas are called the Aryan. Many times what happened with the degradation of society, people were not even following the Vedic principles and were calling them Aryans. But what does Aryan mean? That I follow the Vedic principles. I follow the principles of religion. And that is the way of a civilized society. So we can see right now what is the condition of the society. How many of us actually follow these four regulative principles? And so that means we are not even living in a civilized society. And then that's what gives rise to so much social unrest, because if our consciousness is not proper, if we behave, if we are not following the rules and regulations, what happens is our consciousness is affected. If our consciousness is affected, means we are behaving in an animal consciousness. And then if we are living in animal consciousness, then of course all the wars, the unrest, the crimes, all that will keep on increasing. And that's the reason Bhagavatam says that, all the Vedas say that we should follow the religious principles. Viduruvacha savai vishwasrajam isho vedadin mukhato asrajat yad yad ena srajat devas tanme bruhi tapodhana. Vidur said, O great sage, whose only wealth is penance, kindly explain to me how and with whose help Brahma established the Vedic knowledge which emanated from his mouth. So Vidur's question to Maitreya. So this Vedic knowledge was revealed in the heart of Brahma by Krishna. And then then Brahmaji is propagating this Vedic knowledge. He's speaking this Vedic knowledge with his 4 mouths. Maitreya Vacha, Rigyaju Sama, Tharvakyan, Vedan Purva, Dibir Mukhe, Shastram, Ichyam, Stuti Stomam, Prayaschitam, Vyadhat Kramat. Maitreya said, beginning from the front face of Brahma, gradually the 4 Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sam, and Atharva became manifest. So these are the 4 Vedas. Thereafter, Vedic hymns, which had not been pronounced before, priestly rituals, the subject matters of the recitation, and transcendental activities were all established one after another. 38. Ayurvedam Dhanurvedam Gandharvam Vedam Atmanaha Sthapatyam Chasrajad Vedam Kramat Purva Dibir Mukhehe. He also created the medical science, military art, musical art, and architectural science, all from the Vedas. They all emanated one after another, beginning from the front face. Vedas contain perfect knowledge, which includes all kinds of knowledge necessary for the human society, not only on this particular planet, but on other planets as well. So we can see that it's not that right now we have this modern society is the one that we are civilized. In fact, we can see that we are turning towards an animalistic society by turning away from the Vedas. In the Vedic society, they had all this knowledge, medical, military, musical art, architectural science. It's not that man were like animals before. No, because sometimes we study that in school, right? That that before man was not civilized, used to live like hunters, or would live as the stone man or something. Well, maybe some sections of society deep in the forest, maybe there were some, but the majority of the society was the Vedic society. So it is understood that the military art is also necessary knowledge for the upkeep of social order, as is the art of music. All these groups of knowledge are called the Upapurana, or supplements of the Vedas. Spiritual knowledge is the main topic of the Vedas, but to help the human being's spiritual pursuit of knowledge, the other information, as above mentioned, forms necessary branches of the Vedic knowledge. So it's like when we buy a laptop, now we don't get any manual, but we do get the help feature. So when we get a new gadget, then how to perfectly use it, we get the manual or the help feature. So we know how to properly use this. Similarly, when Krishna created this material world, he manifested the Vedas. Why? So that we know how to properly live in this world. We do need medical care. We need to have houses. We need music also. So these are the few examples given here. But every military art is given. All knowledge is given in the Vedas, so that we can know how to live properly in this world and how to leave this world properly. And it's not only limited to this Earth planet. It's for the whole universe. Itihas Puranani Panchamam Vedam Ishwaraha Sarvebhya Eva Bhaktrebhya Sasraje Sarva Darshanaha. Then he created the fifth Ved, the Puranas and the histories, all from his mouths, since he could see all the past, present, and future. They are histories of particular countries and nations and of the world. But the Puranas are the histories of the universe, not only in one millennium, but in many kalpas. So the Puranas are the histories of the different planets also, is mentioned in the Puranas. And what is mentioned is not only in one day of Brahma, but even what happened in other day of Brahmas. Those histories are also there in the Puranas. Brahma has knowledge of those historical facts, and therefore all the Puranas are histories. As originally composed by Brahma, they are part of the Vedas and are called the fifth Veda. So the Puranas comprise of the fifth Veda. Any comments or questions till now?
So Brahmaji is creating all this?
Yeah, Brahmaji is manifesting. The original Ved was given to Brahmaji in his heart by Krishna.
Okay.
And then, so it's becoming manifested through Brahmaji. He's an instrument to get all this manifested.
And then even all the systems, like as you mentioned, the military system and everything, that is also he's.
Yeah, he's yeah. So he's the architect of this whole universe.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And the knowledge and all the material is given to him by Krishna. So the Shi Ukta Purva Bhaktra.
The military system means like all those the sound, like the Brahma Astra and all that.
Yeah.
Does it mean that?
Yes. Yeah, the Brahmastra, the what's that? The rain weapon, the fire weapon.
Yes.
All those, and the art of using this.
Okay.
Everything. The Nur Ved, right?
Yeah.
That's the part. And so we have the Ayurved, that's the medical part.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So all knowledge comes from Ved. All the knowledge. Even there's geography, there's astrology, there's astronomy. Astronomy. All. We have maths. math, calculation of mathematical. It's also coming from Ved. Ved means knowledge. So all
And what
this
is Puranas then? What's the
Puranas
difference?
are the history. Histories, or because Vedas are full of these hymns, Vedic hymns, and we need to be very highly learned to be able to understand the Vedic hymns, need to be qualified as Brahmanas. And so not everybody can do that. But Puranas, they are more in the story form. So it's easier for people to understand the message of what's being, or what needs to be related. You see, when we get caught up in the details, oh, I know this story. I know what happened. I know what Lord Shiva said to this one and that one. But the point of that story, why did this pastime actually happen? That's what we need to grasp. So the Puranas are all these pastimes that happen in different times in different planets of the universe. So
Also, I want to
for our learning. I'm sorry.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
I also want to add that the principles of religion is the dharma, artha, kam, moksha, right? That's what they meant. The religious activities. Is that what they meant? Earlier it said, no? The
You
principle,
mean
so is
when they said the
dharma.
austerity, mercy, you mean that part?
Yeah, but I think what they meant that religious activities, I think is that dharma,
Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Actually,
moksha.
Yeah. You know what? So yes, all this is mentioned in the Vedas, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But Bhagavatam, okay, this one? Before, no. Transcendental activities,
Actually,
Vedic knowledge, 4 principles of religiosity. This is
so I think that is what they
austerity,
meant.
mercy, and cleanliness. No,
Oh.
this is the austerity, truth, mercy, and cleanliness, not dharma, artha, kama, moksha.
No, okay.
No, this is that religion is what is dharma's principle. What is dharma's principle standing on? The foundation.
The 4 legs, like how we said.
Yeah, the 4 legs. Yeah. This is the 4 legs of religion. And so then what happens that dharma, artha, kama, moksha, the Vedas, a lot of the Vedas teach us that. The majority of the Veda is comprises of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But what does Bhagavatam do? Right in the first canto, second verse. The first verse is glorifying the Supreme Lord, how Krishna, he's the creator of all the material spiritual worlds, how he is the original speaker of the Vedas, how, his position as the Supreme Lord, his position. And then right in the second verse, Bhagavatam says that it completely rejects this cheating religion of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Because actually dharma, artha, kama, moksha, why is it called a cheating religion? It still keeps us in this material world. What happens? Dharma, we do dharmic activities, we do pious rituals. Why? Because then by doing that, we get art, we get economic development, we get money. Then what happens when we get opulence, money, position, power? What we do is kama, we enjoy. We want to enjoy. Then after we enjoy, we see, oh, not really enjoyment. We get frustrated. We say everything is zero, nothing exists. I'm Brahman. So I want moksha. I want to get out. This is all false. Jagan mithya. Brahman satyam, Jagan mithya. Then, oh, I want to become Brahman. I'm the supreme Brahman. Then what happens is, that means I'm still in the material world.
So this is rejected.
Yeah. So right in the beginning of Bhagavatam, Kaitava Dharma, it's called the Kaitava Dharma. We can look it up. And that's the reason that Srila Vyasadeva, he compiled all this. He compiled the Vedas, segregating them, segregated them, so the itihasas, the Puranas, and he was feeling unhappy. Why? Because he said people are going to get confused in this Vedas of Dharma, Arth, Kam, and Moksha. They're going to get confused. Even Narad Muni came to him. He said, why are you so sad? He said, I have given so much knowledge, but I don't feel happy. Narad Muni said, because you didn't tell them in a short, clear manner what they're supposed to do, what we human beings are supposed to do. And so that's the reason Srila Vyasadeva compiled the Bhagavatam, which is called the essence of all the Vedas. So all what he wrote in the Vedas, what the Vedas are trying to tell us, he has put in the Bhagavatam. And that's the reason Bhagavatam is called the essence of all the Vedas. It's called the mature fruit of the desire tree of the Vedas. Because we look to the Vedas because we have desire. We want those desire to be fulfilled. And the mature fruit of the Vedas is Bhagavatam. So this is Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 1. Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 2. So what does he say? Dharma projihita kaitavo atra parmo nimatsaranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni krite kimma parer ishvaraha sadyo hridi avarodhyate atra kirti vishushrushubhis tachanat. What does he say? Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. So this dharma, arth, kam, and moksha, they are religious activities, but they are materially motivated. And that's why they are called Kaitava Dharma, cheating religion. This Bhagavad Puran, so he's saying of this Bhagavad Puran propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. So what is the highest truth? Because just by doing Dharma, Arth, Kama, Moksha, we will not understand the highest truth. And what does the highest truth mean? It means there is no tinge of illusion in there. It is truth in all circumstances, can never change. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. Now, why should we try to understand this truth? Because we are all miserable. At each and every moment, we are undergoing any of the three miseries, and just a temporary relief of the misery, which comes to us in a different way, we think we are happy. But anyway, so what happens? How do we can uproot this threefold miseries? By understanding this highest truth, the reality. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity. Why does it say in his maturity? It's because Vyasadeva, he wrote all the way, wrote it in, because before Veda was just heard, right? So he wrote it, then he segregated it, compiled it in an orderly manner, which would be easy for people to understand. Then the Puranas, the Itihasas, the Upanishads, so much knowledge. So he had all the knowledge, yet he was sad. And when Narad Muni told him, write the Bhagavatam, that's when he compiled this Bhagavatam. And so that's why it's called in his maturity. So means he already knows that, just by following the Vedas, by following Dharma, Arth, Kama, Moksha, there's no happiness there. So what is this? This beautiful Bhagavatam compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity is sufficient in itself for God realization. Just by hearing Bhagavatam attentively, submissively, we can attain God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. So this is the beauty of Bhagavatam, that it completely rejects all cheating religion. Now when we are hearing Bhagavatam, we hear it attentively, submissively, the Supreme Lord will be established within our heart. There is no doubt about it.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, and that's the reason. That's the reason. Imagine, Parikshit Maharaj, he had only 7 days to live. Means he had very short time in this human body. Now, when we know we are going to die, we are going to do the most important thing. We don't want to waste time, no? Because we know, oh, time is so short. It's so limited. Let me do the best thing possible. And
So it's what? It's God realization, right?
Yeah, and so, yes, God realization. And Sukadev Goswami spoke the Bhagavatam to him, that you hear the Bhagavatam. And Parikshit Maharaj heard the Bhagavatam. So important is Bhagavatam, and we should try to connect as many people to Bhagavatam as possible. Because just by hearing Bhagavatam, we can have God realization. Yeah. And Srila Prabhupada, he was not eating for so many months. He couldn't get up. He was lying on the bed. I don't know if you all have seen the video. He couldn't even turn himself. The devotees had to help him turn over. His body was just a bag of skin with bones. So he was in a very painful position. And in, those last few months, when he was giving up the body, what was he doing? He was giving the purpose to the Srimad Bhagavatam. He was not trying to get himself well. He was not, what was he doing? Translating the Bhagavatam for us, giving the purpose of the Bhagavatam. So important is Bhagavatam. He couldn't even speak so clearly, so the devotees had to put the microphone almost into his mouth so it could be audible. And so also it shows his transcendental position, because at that position, when a person is not eating, not sleeping, is in so much pain physically, the consciousness of the person is going to be very, very disturbed, very, very different. And here Prabhupada was giving purpose after purpose, most beautiful purpose to Bhagavatam. So that also shows his transcendental position. So Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Right.
Prabhupada ki jai. I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Actually, Prabhupada went through so much, and still he was determined on his path of devotion and serving Krishna. He never left. But we, the people who just get a little problem and then we find out a solution that is not in connection with Krishna, and we plan to leave it.
Yeah, well, Prabhupada is on the transcendental platform. He came specifically, Lord Chaitanya sent him to give us this holy name, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Where would we be otherwise? We wouldn't be knowing. So, yeah, but his heart was very compassionate, and he's just telling us, please take up this process. Okay, never mind, you forgot Krishna in that moment, try again. Try again. That's what we have to do, just keep trying. What else can we do? We have been in the material world for a very long time. The spider which was climbing, but then falling down, climbing, falling down. We have to do that. Because we are not on the transcendental position. And if we think we are just fooling ourselves. We are in the material body. We are in the conditioned world. We have these material desires. We have this psychological, this body is under the rules of the material nature. We do have these emotional needs or physical needs or whatever. We just have to accept, yes, I am conditioned soul. So let me just try to hear and chant and do my best. If we come from that point, that honesty, then we will, we'll just try doing our best. What else can we do?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good morning. Hare Krishna to you.
Hare
Good sleep
Krishna.
done. Sleep done. Nice girl.
Okay. So that's because, sometimes what happens, we get dejected, we feel dejected. I've been hearing chanting for so long. What happened? Why I'm still acting on a material platform? Because we are on the material platform. we are on the material platform. We never left the material platform. This is just that we are getting an opportunity to hear about pure devotional service. We are getting an opportunity to engage in hearing and chanting. But we just have to be realistic of our position. That, yeah, we are in the material body. And we do think we are the body and the mind. And just try our best and catch on to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today morning. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol.
Hari Om.